All right, we made it.
We did. We're on the final wrap up of this book,
Let them.
Let Them, the Let Them
Yes.
Theory.
Yes.
Mel Robbins. We have enjoyed this conversation
We
and
have.
looking forward to our next series,
Yes.
our next book in this series, I should say. So let's dive into it and get
Yes.
to it.
So we kind of looked at a couple of different chapters that we really felt were impactful, that I guess kind of spoke to us where we are in our life. And I think
Yes,
that so we can kind of share that and then kind of
walk through
see,
it all.
yeah, instead of trying to cover all of the chapters. That's a
So,
lot.
opening up, did we misunderstand the book? Did we understand it? How was that process? How do you feel about it?
So I think that the title can be a little misleading. I think it's definitely a great hook to get people in, right? Because
Yeah,
you think that you're going into this on how to deal with everybody else in their mess, and you actually end up dealing with your own mess in the book because it's not really letting them, it's really letting you.
as it should be. And I think that's the shift in emotional healing is
Yeah.
you realize how little you are in control of and how much responsibility you have to work on yourself and process through yourself. So that's a big paradigm shift. And like you said, you have to have that hook
You do.
because you do think when you're first reading it, oh, this is going to be about,
How I teach everybody
how do
else a
I, yeah,
lesson. Yeah.
how do I show them how they can treat me
Yeah.
and how, I train them how they're going to treat me. And the reality is it's really about working on you, realizing where you stand, where they stand,
Mm-hmm.
how to kind of have a proper perspective in all of that. And we did early on. We've already talked about this, so we don't need to dive deep into it. But understanding, kind of in the very beginning, there is some clarity on abusive
There
situations,
are.
and we felt like there could have been more. And I think that's a fair feedback.
And she does dive into it more
Absolutely.
throughout the book.
As you go deeper, you
Mm-hmm.
kind of realize that. So that's a good. I think as in anything, the more you get comfortable with telling the truth, you can be honest about where you're at and where is this. Would you classify this as a healthy relationship, a relationship that needs to
Yeah.
be long term? Because there are relationships that we have that are long term
Yeah.
based on family and situations and connections. So you kind of have to figure those pieces out,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have to dive back into that. But I think that's good. So, what did you expect to get into the book going in, and then what have you gained?
So it has a lot of traction online, and
Yeah,
we talked about the people that are getting the tattoos, and like people are really gravitating to the let them theory.
right.
And we did talk about how this isn't really a new theory; it's kind of a repackaging of
Yeah,
Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism and,
right,
and that
right.
kind of thing. But it is putting it in a new,
A
21st
contemporary
century,
format.
yeah, so that
Sure.
people can swallow it.
Well, I mean, we just watched a movie that was clearly, it's influenced by Bullet from the '70s,
Yes.
and they even made a reference. So there's repackaging, retelling. A lot of people consider like some classic works of throughout history. They've been
Yeah,
repackaged, retold, and you need that. You
you do.
you need that to be retold and to be told in a way that
That you
it's
can understand it.
accessible.
Right.
It's accessible for everybody. So I think that is very much the case here, and it's good to have that in a format that's easy for us to consume. Like we use Audible a lot
We do.
on audiobooks, and there's an ability to kind of dive into those things, and you don't have to take everything away. Like it's helpful text doesn't mean it's sacred text.
Right.
Take what you can learn from and glean from,
Right.
and you don't have to burn the rest, but you don't have to carry the rest. It
You
doesn't.
don't.
If you picked up one or two principles that help you better
100%.
yourself and grow, then that's awesome.
So, what surprised you the most?
Um, I think because we've had this conversation, it surprised me of the conversations that we had because of this. Not necessarily because there's been such work done through
Mm-hmm.
codependency and what that looks like. The ability to have the conversation between the two of us from having like the resource,
Yeah.
and then what does that actually look like? What does
Mm-hmm.
that look like for us? What does that look like in our relationship? And it surprised me you don't want to have leverage of like, let them, but you also have to have that reminder. Like we've had some real world opportunities lately to actually put some of this in practice. And the
Yeah.
last thing you want your partner to do is look at you and say, you get to practice what you preach or anything along those lines. But at the same time, you do have to have that gentle reminder, like,
Yeah.
I know we're getting emotionally pulled into a situation that we don't necessarily, it's not our baggage to carry. It's
Right.
not our emotion to carry. And here's the tricky part about that is our emotions can drag us into situations to where we feel volatile, we feel like it is our responsibility
Yeah.
when it truly isn't our responsibility. And we're caring too much,
Mm-hmm.
not caring too much, but carrying too much.
Caring.
That's not the right word. Yeah, Carry,
Yes.
right? Ing. What? Right? We're actually putting too much on our shoulders
Mm-hmm.
instead of continuing to grow in our own and heal in our own.
Yeah.
And we expect the environment to get healthier and not ourselves to get healthier.
Hmm. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think with adult children and a blended family and all the things that we have in our life, I mean, in any family,
Right.
I think that learning that it is, you can't control the healing path of other people. You can only control, what we talk about, we only control like what's inside the circle, and that is you,
Right.
right? Like how you react, how you
Right.
respond, that is really the only thing we can control. So that's a really good point. And I think you're right. We did have a lot of conversations, and we've had a lot of upheaval even while we were kind of going through this book in the last
Right.
month. We've had people in the hospital, more than we had before. We had additional people going to the hospital.
Right.
We had adult children that were struggling and had things going on that we've had to step in and put on a caretaker hat, So it's a lot. We've had a lot happen. And I think because we were kind of doing this book, it's kind of given us a little bit of perspective
Yeah.
to navigate through it without feeling too overwhelmed.
Yeah. I think that the difficult part is oftentimes we struggle with let them idea
Mm-hmm.
because when we have that illusion of control, we have an illusion of safety.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Oh,
want, yeah, we want, I mean, no one that we know
yeah.
is like, let me be unsafe and unsettled at all
Yeah,
times. I
right.
mean, there is a sense of like adventure, and we want that. But everybody wants to know, like, this is, this when I'm going to go to the refrigerator, there's going to be a little bit of food in there. That I'm going to
Yeah,
have a place to lay down that's safe. And
with air
there's, yeah,
condition in hot
there's
Louisiana.
right, there's the instincts that we have, especially as parents.
Yeah,
We want that, but oftentimes we get really confused that if we control everything, then that somehow is creating this safety
yeah.
that we don't really have.
Well, I mean, did we listen to our parents?
No, and I
I
think,
mean, you think about our children that are adult children that are in their 20s, right? Like that are still 30s trying to figure it out.
yeah,
You, I didn't listen to my mom
I
and
think,
dad. I did not heed their warning for sure. I
right,
I thought I knew everything. I want forge ahead.
yeah. I
So
I love what content Professor G, he said, advice that he would give to young people is like, skip the stage where you think your parents don't know
anything,
explicit
yeah,
crap,
that,
that they don't know anything, and skip that stage, and realize that there are people in your path that are allies and not
mm-hmm,
enemies. And
mm,
so you kind of have to figure that out. You figure that out in those relationships, especially those long-term relationships. And I don't want to like steal my thunder, but I'll give mine away a little bit. One thing, because we have a question of like, what if you had a
we
sentence,
can skip to it. Yeah,
a sentence like that would be like your one big takeaway.
yeah,
I love this right here. I wrote this down. Let them be who they are so that you can be who you're becoming, and learn to love people in distances.
mm,
especially long-term relationships, the way I would define those are the relationships that are essential that we have, like with family. We have a blended family,
Mm-hmm.
and that brings up real challenges in real time,
It
and it's
does.
not always easy. It's not always lining up with the picture perfect situation
Yeah,
on Instagram. And we have family members that have blended families. They have their children are small, and as they grow, it gets more complicated and it
it
gets
does.
more emotional. And then adult children, early adulthood, all those things, we realize that there are relationships, not just children, but family members and beyond. And
Yeah,
this doesn't apply like we don't, we're not beefing with anybody, but you have
yeah.
to learn that there are seasons of life that you love in distances. It doesn't mean you love any less, but there are
You
some,
just got to give some space.
you got to give some people room to
Yeah,
breathe. You have to give yourself room to breathe.
yeah,
It's okay to go into your separate corners and take a break. You don't have to be warring and fighting all the time.
yeah.
For you're trying to win your point of view. You're trying to win for the safety that you think you're maintaining.
Right. And that's my big one is that you can love difficult people in a different way. Like I can love them without having to control them. I
Right.
can love them without them doing what I want them to do. Because we've talked about that in my world, like the Jordan situation, like, having a child pass away, it 100% kind of rewires you to worry, um, in a sense of the rest of the children. Are they safe? Are they good? Are they, what's going on? Are we doing what we should
Right.
do? Are we going to the doctor? Are we taking care of our health? Are we taking care of ourselves mentally? Are we, like the checklist can become
And
overwhelming.
instead of just sticking to the checklist, it's just a spiral
It is.
of
And I think
fear.
I've I've come
Right.
I've come a long way with
Absolutely.
that. There's still, there's still some fears that 100% creep up.
That's
Um,
normal and natural.
and I have to remind myself that I cannot control it. None of us are promised tomorrow.
Right.
Life is precious, and we need to give every
Right.
day
I
the
wish
validity that it deserves.
Right. I wish that we had the ability to, especially for people that we love, that we could, it was a Disney movie and we had the ability to like push back the storm or whatever it was. And I was reading a novel and I was thinking about this week because I did some writing about this and about the storms and what that looks like and what do we actually control and what can we actually do about it. And I was reading this novel, and it was a fantasy novel, and there was a wizard involved,
Mm-hmm.
and the heroes, the protagonists, they're trying to like push back this horde of evil, and they I'm going to tell a long story and make it really short, but they come in contact with this weird, strange character, and he's got magical powers, and the writer of the series is very like grounded,
Okay.
like these magical powers don't just make all the problems disappear. And one thing that this uh, protagonist asked was, could you create like a storm? He had the reputation of creating like these deadly storms against enemies.
Oh, okay.
He could create storms, he could not stop storms.
Hmm.
And I thought about, like, it stuck out to me, that thought, that theory stuck out to me because it was very true. We would love to be able to stop those things. We can create them.
Yeah,
We can make more problems,
for
right? we can
sure.
we can create more devastation, but we can't often control things that are sicknesses that are outside of our control.
Right.
Devastation, trauma that happens. We can't control those things, and they're outside of our control.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very difficult at times with the people that we love. We wish we could. We wish we could, hold
Protect
them at
them.
bay,
Yeah.
protect them.
Yeah. Put them in a
All
box.
and
And then
sometimes we can live
what
in that
a
state of fear,
yeah, but if we put them all in a little box to keep them safe, then what kind of life is that?
and we're really not keeping them safe.
We're not.
We're not. We're
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 not.
we're not able to keep that. We don't, like you said already. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
We could keep them away from all things, and still time and the reality of the world that we live in It will eventually catch up. There will be a day that will be my last, and
Yeah.
I don't want to just sit around thinking constantly about my death or afraid of everything. But there is a a thought process, a way of living that even the Stoics um, they would have an idea of consider the day that your life would end. Like
Yeah.
let that be in your forefront, not in a constant depressive state,
Fear. Yeah. A
but
fear and
like this may be our last opportunity to have a conversation.
right.
This may be the last time we get to all sit around a dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
This might be the last movie night we have. This might be the last conversation over the phone. This might be, you don't know when that last one is. And so
Yeah.
instead of trying to control that, why don't we live in a way that considers, if I don't ever get to speak to you again,
Mm-hmm.
the Truman Show, he would always say, if I don't see you again,
Yeah.
right? If I don't get a chance to have a good morning, good afternoon, and good evening and good night.
Yes.
And it was just that that way of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like consider that this may be, and we've had to spend a lot of time in hospitals unexpected. Like all of a sudden we
All of
get
a sudden.
news,
Yeah.
and we're in the hospital, and we're sitting next to someone we love, and it's not always been good. And you're like, is it going to turn out okay? And we're very grateful that there are situations that we're hopeful and prayerful about,
Yeah.
but it reminds us that this is life is precious and it's fragile at times, and we think we're controlling it, but we're not.
We're not.
So why not live in such a way
Mm-hmm.
that takes full advantage of that day?
Full and I, bringing it back to the let them,
Right.
learning to live at the full advantage without requiring the expectation, control, or for anybody else. Because the let them is let them misunderstand me, let them disapprove of what I do, let them love me, not love me, let them let them do what they need to do and
Right.
live their life, whether it is for my cheerleading squad or not. Let them,
Yeah.
right? And that not affect the letting me of what I do in my life. That I can love you, and but you don't, I don't have to agree with you, I don't have to do what you say. The same as they can't control me
Right.
in what I need to do for my life, I can't control them for what they need to do in their life. And I think that that's kind of the big picture of let them, is that if you let them, you're letting yourself focus on your own
Right.
Kool-Aid.
You're releasing them while also releasing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And from fear, shame, expectation that are unrealistic. We put a lot of, and it's going to lead us into our next book that we're going to talk about, but we put a lot of expectation on other people to be
We do.
perfect and their response and their reaction. But you got to understand you're loving people at distances. There's certain people that you won't see for years. And then you get on Facebook, much like she tells the story, or Instagram or whatever, and you see they're doing something. Well, why didn't they include me? Well, you haven't spoken to them in 6 months or a
Yeah,
year.
or a
So
year,
that's just
right?
loving at a distance. It's not meaning that your love is any less.
Yeah.
Like there's family members that I love and I see them once or twice a year. I would love to see them more, and maybe that may change in the future, but that's loving at a distance. It doesn't mean you're loving them less. It
Yeah.
just understanding that it's a distance. And then there may be people that are truly dysfunctional in life, but we're in a long-term relationship with them, meaning that we can't just, they're connected to us.
They are.
And if that's the case, we can love them at a distance
Yeah.
and make sure that we are not allowing their dysfunction to derail us,
Yes.
because we can get around them and all of a sudden we feel like we got to control them and we got to change them, and we kind of think we have to play God, we have to fix them.
Yeah.
We can't. You and I, we cannot change
Right.
another person
No.
in our relationship. We can't. We can inspire, we can be an inspiration and an influence,
Mm-hmm.
but we can't change them.
No.
And that's hard
It
for
is.
us to learn and apply.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like everything that I've gone through in my life has been a reason for the season. I've learned lessons.
Oh, hallelujah.
I've, I mean, really,
Yeah.
I've learned lessons in every season of my life, whether it was a good or a bad. I feel like there's probably some things that I've gone through that I probably shouldn't have made it. So I
And there's some storms that were created that we had a lot to do with.
had a lot to do with.
And there's some storms that we thought we were making the best decision at the time. We
And
thought we were making, we thought, and in hindsight, you're like, well, wow, that didn't turn
that
out like I thought it was
is
going to.
right,
And it doesn't mean that we try any less. It doesn't mean we don't show up. It doesn't mean we don't work on ourselves. It simply means it didn't go as planned.
right.
So what do we do now? Right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with the when life deals you a hand of that's not great?
Yeah,
Well, you play the hand and you
yeah.
keep.
Keep
I
doing the
love that.
best you can.
Yeah, you play another round, and you don't have to go all in on a bad hand.
Yeah,
You don't have to let a dysfunctional situation that you're connected to
yeah,
become your reality.
yeah.
I love them at a distance, but I don't have to. We've all been around it. We've all been sucked into it, and we go home. We're just like, oh, we're so,
Yeah,
we're
overwhelmed.
overwhelmed. We keep talking about it. We keep bringing up,
Beating it,
and right,
beating the dead horse.
we're rehashing to the point
Yeah.
to where it becomes a part of our story, and then it becomes a part of our way of looking at the world, and their trauma then becomes our trauma, and then
Mm.
before long we're living in this constant state of trying to
Upheaval
fix
and yeah,
everything around us instead of saying it's
it's
okay
okay
and I love you at a distance.
for sure. All right, so we're going to use a couple of one sentence lines that
Okay.
people use to kind of summarize let them. And this is some that I've kind of pulled offline. But it says release what was never yours to carry is one of them.
Yep.
Love people without controlling them. We've talked about that in quite a bit. Focus your energy on your own growth. So focusing inward.
Yeah.
Um, and then uh, just I think that's it. That's the last of the
So
sentences.
for me, the sentence I would take away from that for myself, and we
Mm-hmm.
kind of ask each other that question, like summarizing. I love the idea of let them be who they are. And again, I'm repeating myself from before, but let them be who they are so you can be who you are becoming.
Yeah.
And what you are becoming, you only attract what that is that you're becoming.
Yeah.
When you are working on becoming healthy, you start seeing, and this is beyond the woo woo of law of attraction and
Yeah.
manifestation. It's a change of not just saying it, but when you're actually living it out, you become healthier.
Mm-hmm.
You're becoming more in a state of awareness. And when you're in that state, everything reproduces after its kind. That's a an ancient principle, biblical principle.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you are and whatever you're becoming, you will reproduce that in your life.
Mm-hmm. Reap and sow.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure,
for
for
sure.
sure. So that's a perfect principle. So what is something else you pulled out?
So one of my big takeaways was you can love someone deeply and still let them live their own life, right? And we talked about that, the mom, the nurse, the caregiver, Jordan's story, some of the health issues we're dealing with currently. And I do tend to try to carry everybody's stuff. Like
Yeah,
I want to fix it. I
yeah.
can't fix it, but I want everyone to just be happy and to be healthy and to be okay. So this one really does challenge me because I can love people without trying to fix it. Sometimes, even in our relationship, sometimes I don't need you to fix it. I just need you to hear me. And I think that that's something that I need to really learn with our adult children is that I can't fix it, but I can be there. I can sit with you. We
Right.
can talk about it. And I can hear you and hear your heart without being like, okay, I have all the answers. Let's fix it.
It doesn't, and it doesn't negate the ability of giving of oneself. Here's the odd thing is you can literally try to fix everything and everyone and wind up completely depleted with nothing left to give, and nothing will be bettered, and it can all fall apart.
Yeah.
You can, or you can be health, or the opposite side is, well, I can't do anything for you. There's
Mm.
nothing I can do for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, tough luck.
Yeah.
You're on your
So
own,
we just kind of
right?
disconnect
Yeah,
and
disconnect
stop caring.
completely.
Yeah.
So we overconnect in both sides, and both sides is a loss. It's a negative.
Yeah.
There's no positive return on investment.
Right. So it's finding that healthy middle.
How can I grow and become more healthy?
Mm-hmm.
So then I can give to the standard at which I am able now.
Yeah.
Very, very similar. Had a friend of mine had to walk them through what they can do as a non for profit for people that reach out to them and say, hey, I have this need, I have this need. And the truth is that if every person that came, you were providing for them, it wouldn't take long before there was nothing left to give to
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah.
And the next month, the
Mm-hmm.
same person would then come and say, hey, you helped me last month. Can you help me this month? So the same principle applies. What is it that I can give?
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, how else can I be supportive?
Yeah.
How else can I show up for you?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't show up for everything. You can't
No.
be gone every night of the week. You can't jam your calendar full of, like, you can, but you'll wind up completely depleted.
Yeah.
And you can't just cut yourself off. Technically you can, but you'll wind up depleted.
Mm-hmm.
So where's that middle ground of how do I show up for myself so then I can show up for others? And then what's that healthy boundary for me to set? Healthy boundaries is tough. Nobody wants to talk about it,
Nobody wants to talk about
but
that.
healthy boundaries. So chapter 6, how to love difficult people, really good if you're wondering.
Yeah, it
Really
is.
good,
It is a really good,
but it's really challenging too.
and it goes like it really does. If you really sit down and think about in that chapter, talking about coworkers, the girl at the checkout counter, the person in the when you're driving, the road rage, the like
Sure.
all those things. Like she kind of goes through a lot of that in chapter 6 and the difficult people and family, right? Difficult just situations. Um, so that I really do like. That is a great chapter. So now we're going to kind of talk about and transition into what is next for us. So the Let Them did teach us how to stop managing everyone else, how to release control, stop chasing approval. But then what? So what's our next that we're going to?
So we're talking about the gift of imperfection, and I think it's a perfect segue into the conversation of what that looks like. Like, what is
Mm-hmm.
the natural next progression of what that looks like for us? And it is, this is going to be another one that
It's
for
gonna.
somebody that struggles with being,
Oh, that
and
was
what's,
shots
well,
fired.
what's weird is we all have it show up in certain areas
We do. We do.
where, your perfectionism
Yeah.
shows up in some ways that are like, whoa, like, let it go,
Yeah.
man. Like,
It's not important.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's not, it's just a discussion post, right? We don't have to spend 6 hours on this project, right? Like, well, truthfully, but we're
I don't think
wired
he's let it
different.
go from
Yeah.
yesterday.
But
Just
we're
FYI.
wired
We
differently
are.
in that I'm like, okay, let's just get it done. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's things that I find valuable that I haven't communicated. And you're like, what? Why does this even matter? And I'm
Right.
like, no, it matters. You don't understand. And, but you're like that way too in different
In
ways.
different
And
ways
so
and about different things, for
I
sure.
think it's a good conversation for us to have both
Mm-hmm.
in our life, and then also, for those that are part of this community, hopefully
Yeah.
it's helping them. So some perfectionism where we are not focused on them,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we can actually start to get excited about what that looks like for us, and like setting healthy boundaries within ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
because it's always them, and truly it's us.
It
Like,
is.
we have to set that healthy boundary for ourselves.
It is. Some of the things that I've kind of in doing a little bit of previewing of the book is it talks about authenticity, vulnerability,
Yeah.
shame, belonging. self-worth, perfectionism, and you talked about that. But some of those things with authenticity, I think, is who doesn't need a reminder that you are enough?
Right.
You don't have to compare yourself.
Right.
You don't have to be afraid of failure. Try. No one, I mean, how many times, what is the saying that like Michael Jordan didn't make his high school basketball team the
Sure.
first time? Edison tried to make the light bulb like hundreds and hundreds of times. I don't know
Yeah.
the exact number, but hundreds and hundreds
I
of
was
times
going to
before
say
he
you're
got
going
it
to pull
right.
out a certain.
I, I
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie about that. I
Yeah.
don't know what the number is, but
Right.
he did do it many, many times before he got it right.
I think there's that true fear of failure that holds a lot of us back. We're afraid to look bad.
We are.
There's certain ways where I don't care. I'm not afraid to look bad,
Yeah,
and then there's certain areas that I am petrified,
for sure.
and I won't lean in and just be
For
like,
sure.
I don't know. And the most freeing is not to get. We're gonna deep dive into this, but the most freedom has come in my own personal life where I've just admit, hey, I'm learning and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm learning,
Yeah.
and that's okay
That's awesome.
because it releases us. It releases us from the weight of shame,
For sure.
of feeling like we have to somehow
Well,
compare ourselves.
and when we first started this,
Yeah.
at first you were like, oh no, we can't just start. And I was like, well, let's just start. Let's just do it. Like,
Yeah.
we're just going to put ourselves out there.
No, we
We're
got
going
to
to
have all
be
this stuff. Yeah.
honest. And you were like, no, no, we got to have this. We got to have that.
But
We got to have da 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 da.
that's the people pleasing, worried what they're going to think.
Yeah.
And that is ingrained in us. It's ingrained in me
Yeah.
because again, I want it to look good, because if it looks good, then maybe it is good,
Yeah.
and then I can control it.
Yeah.
Right, and it
Right.
goes back to control. It goes back to saying what needs to be said in the moment, what I think is good that
Yeah.
someone wants to hear,
Yeah.
instead of like speaking the truth and telling like, I don't know, and this isn't okay, and
Yeah.
that's
For
all right.
sure. So I think it's really important to remember that healing isn't becoming perfect.
Yeah,
It's just showing up and doing the work.
it is.
It's learning how to be whole in yourself,
It is.
not by anybody else's definition, but for yourself.
Yep.
So we're really excited about. I'm excited about this next book. I think it's going to hurt like the Let Them. I think it's going to pull up some things and it's going to cause some work, which is why we're kind of calling this the healing shelf for this summer. We're kind of doing a few different books so that we can work on ourselves.
Yeah.
And continue that journey, because the healing project is not for us that we're healed and we're going to teach everyone how to be healed. The healing
What I'm
project
learning.
is what I'm learning
Yeah.
and what I'm growing through. And I just don't feel like I can be the only person, right? There has to be people out there that are going through the same thing, people that have blended families and teenagers and 14-year-olds and grandchildren. And
Because at the end of the day, I don't want to just talk about what happened or what didn't go right or the trauma. Again, I
yeah,
want to trace to the place of finding the healing, and it's usually in the deep, dark,
it is.
cavernous place
Mm-hmm.
where there we slay the dragon and find the gold.
Yeah.
And that's we don't. A lot of us don't want to do that, but
We don't.
we're afraid to.
Yeah, we
And
are.
that's where the greatest adventure lies.
For sure.
That's where your authentic adventure awaits.
So we do want to invite the viewers, like their favorite quotes, their favorite part of the book, their favorite whatever it is, whatever challenged you, whatever
Sure.
pushed you in a way or encouraged you, whatever it might be.
And listen, even if you read a paragraph about it,
Yeah.
even if you never picked up the book,
Even
and
if it was just one of our short term videos that you said,
listened,
"Ooh,
yeah,
I
you
needed that
listened to a
today."
podcast related to this, and it paused for just a moment, and you thought,
Yeah.
that's something I could take away. That's all we want.
Yeah.
That's all we want. This is not a task to be perfect in. We're just wanting you to take the steps.
For sure. So, in closing, Let Them taught us to release what we cannot control, and the gifts of imperfection will change us to embrace who we really are. So, we're excited for the next chapter and excited for
Absolutely.
you guys to come along.
Thanks, y'all.
Have a
Love
great
you.
day.